The battlefield of Kurukshetra stood still again, time suspended between heaven and earth. The morning sun bathed the plains in a molten glow. Arjuna sat within his chariot, his mind no longer trembling with despair, yet a new question stirred within him. The words of Krishna echoed in his heart, "Act without attachment." But how could action become sacred when it led to destruction? Arjuna looked toward Krishna, his voice low but searching. "O Madhva," he said, "you tell me to act, to fight, to perform my duty, but you also say to do it without desire. How can one act and not be moved by the result? How can work, born from the world of needs and wants, become a path to the divine?" Krishna turned his gaze upon Arjuna, calm, radiant, infinite. "Arjuna," he said gently, "all work binds man, except that which is done for the sake of yajna, the sacred offering. Work performed as worship, as sacrifice, frees the soul from bondage. But work done in selfishness ties man to his actions and their endless fruits." Arjuna frowned slightly. "Yajna," he asked. "Do you mean the rituals of fire and offerings? How can battle be yajna?" Krishna smiled faintly. "No, Partha. Yajna is not merely ritual. It is the spirit of selfless giving, the offering of action to the divine. Every deed, every breath, can become sacred when performed with that spirit. The farmer who tills his land for the good of all, the ruler who protects without greed, the teacher who imparts wisdom without pride, all perform yajna. But he who acts for his own pleasure alone, who seeks the fruit of work for himself, eats the fruit of sin." Arjuna's brow furrowed. "So even work can become worship?" "Yes," Krishna replied softly. "When you act as an offering, not as a demand. That is the mystery of yoga, work without selfish desire. That is how duty becomes devotion." The words sunk deep into Arjuna's heart. He bowed his head in reverence. "Then teach me, O Keshava, the way to perform such work, that I may act and yet be free." Krishna's eyes turned toward the vast horizon. His voice deepened, carrying the weight of cosmic law. "In the beginning, O Arjuna," he said, "the Lord of creation, Prajapati, brought forth mankind together with yajna, saying, 'By sacrifice shall you prosper, let this be your wish-fulfilling cow.' Through yajna, the gods are nourished, through the gods, rain descends, through rain, food is produced, and from food arise all beings. Thus, by yajna, the eternal wheel of creation turns. He who honors this sacred wheel lives in harmony with all existence. But he who turns away, who seeks only to consume and not to give, lives in vain, his life a burden upon the earth." Arjuna's eyes widened as he listened, the great truth unfolding like the dawn. "So this world," he whispered, "is sustained by mutual service, by giving, not taking." Krishna nodded. "Yes, Arjuna. The entire universe is bound together by sacrifice. The sun shines not for itself but for life. The rivers flow not for themselves but for the world. Even the smallest bee gathers nectar not for its pleasure alone but for the hive. So too must man act, for the good of all. This is the secret of harmony, the rhythm of the cosmos, action as offering, work as worship. He who breaks this wheel, who lives only for himself, destroys the balance of creation. Such a one, O Partha, lives in vain." Arjuna felt a tremor in his soul. "Then all life depends upon yajna?" "Yes," said Krishna. "Yajna is not mere ritual. It is the law of balance, the exchange between seen and unseen, between man and the divine. It is the heartbeat of existence." The truth glowed in Arjuna's mind like a rising sun. He looked down at his bow, now less a weapon and more a symbol of duty. "Then even battle," he said softly, "can serve this divine wheel." Krishna smiled. "Yes, when fought without hatred, when offered in the spirit of dharma, your battle becomes yajna. When you fight for justice, not pride, when you act for the world, not for yourself, you uphold the cosmic order." Krishna's words flowed like a river of light. "The gods, nourished by yajna, bless the world with abundance. The rains fall, the crops grow, the people prosper. But when men forget yajna, when they act in greed, consume without giving, the balance breaks. The world withers. Desires multiply, and peace fades away. This is why yajna must never cease. For it is through giving that the world lives, and through selflessness that the soul finds peace. But he who eats without offering, who takes without gratitude, eats sin. He consumes the world without feeding it back. He becomes a burden upon creation. Arjuna's eyes lowered in humility. I see now, Krishna, work done for oneself leads only to hunger that never ends. But work done for the divine feeds the soul as well as the world. Krishna nodded slowly. Yes, Arjuna. The wise see all action as an offering. They cook their food as yajna, they labor as yajna, they speak, think, and breathe as yajna. Such souls are free even while living in the world. Their hearts are clear, for they seek no reward. They are content with what comes naturally. But those who cling to results, they remain in bondage, forever running after fleeting fruits. Arjuna sighed, as though a great burden had lifted from his chest. So the secret is not to abandon work, but to sanctify it. Indeed, Krishna said with a faint smile, when the motive is pure, the act becomes divine. When the ego dissolves, the doer disappears, and only duty remains. Listen further, Arjuna, Krishna continued. The beings of this world are born from food, food is produced by rain is sustained by yajna, and yajna itself arises from action. Action comes from the Vedas, the scriptures of divine wisdom, and the Vedas spring from the eternal, the imperishable truth. Thus, the infinite pervades all, from the grain in the field to the fire of sacrifice. He who knows this, and acts accordingly, walks in harmony with the universe. But he who disregards this sacred order, who lives for his own pleasure, who refuses to give back, lives a wasted life. Arjuna's heart beat faster. Then selfishness is the true enemy. Yes, said Krishna. Selfishness breaks the wheel. Desire burns the harmony of life. When man acts only for himself, he loses his connection with the divine rhythm. But when he acts as part of that rhythm, giving, serving, creating, he becomes one with the eternal. Arjuna's eyes glistened with realization. To live without selfishness, to work without desire, to give without expectation. That is freedom. Krishna's smile deepened, serene as the dawn. Yes, Arjuna. That is yoga, the union of duty and devotion. The wise see no difference between worship and work, between temple and battlefield, between prayer and labor. All is sacred when done in selflessness. Arjuna pondered deeply. Yet, O Krishna, there are many who say, why work at all? Why not simply renounce and live in peace? What of them? Krishna's eyes shone with quiet strength. Those who refuse to work, claiming holiness, are deluded. No one can live without action. The body itself is sustained by effort. Even the sages of old acted, not for themselves, but for the good of the world. He who avoids his duty breaks the divine wheel. He consumes but does not contribute. Such a one is a thief, living upon the gifts of others. Arjuna, you must understand, yajna is not only fire and offering. It is service. It is participation in the sacred circle of life. To live is to give. To take without giving back is to sin. Arjuna bowed his head. Then even the smallest duty, done rightly, becomes yajna. Krishna nodded. Yes. Whether you sweep the floor, teach a child, rule a kingdom, or fight a battle, do it as an offering, without greed, without pride. Then your work will purify you, and not bind you. Arjuna's voice softened. And if one fails? If the heart still clings to result? Krishna smiled gently. Then act again, without fear. Each act of offering weakens desire, each moment of sincerity brings freedom closer. The path of yajna is walked by effort, not by perfection. Arjuna looked upon his bow with new eyes. Then, my battle is not only against the Kauravas, it is against my own desires. Indeed, Arjuna, Krishna said, conquer that enemy, and you shall know peace. Krishna's voice grew luminous, vast, echoing like eternity itself. This world, O Arjuna, is woven from the fabric of yajna, from selfless giving. He who lives in harmony with this truth lives in peace. He who breaks it suffers. From the beginning, creation was set in motion through sacrifice. The Creator himself offered his own essence, and from that offering came the world. Thus, sacrifice is the root of existence. Do you see, Arjuna? To live without giving is to deny the very act that gave you life. To take without gratitude is to betray the sacred chain of being. Therefore, perform your duty as worship. See every action as an offering. Let no act be empty. Let no breath be wasted. When work becomes worship, life itself becomes divine. Arjuna's eyes shone like the morning sun. Then Yajna is not outside us, it is within us. Krishna's smile was radiant. Yes, Arjuna. When your mind is pure, your heart detached, and your actions selfless, you become Yajna itself. You become the fire, the offering, and the worshipper. That is the highest yoga. Arjuna breathed deeply, peace filling his chest. Then I understand, Krishna. To work without desire, to act without bondage, to live in service, that is the true path. Krishna placed his hand upon Arjuna's shoulder. Rise, Partha. Act in the spirit of Yajna. Let your arrows be offerings, your courage devotion, your victory humility. Through selfless work, you uphold the divine law, and in that, you find your freedom. A silence fell between them, vast, luminous, unbroken. In that silence, the truth lived, that work without desire is worship, that sacrifice sustains creation, that the selfless heart is the bridge between man and the divine. Arjuna raised his bow. His eyes no longer wavered. His soul no longer trembled. He had understood the law of Yajna, the sacred rhythm of action, the harmony of life, the yoga of work. And in that understanding, his duty became his prey, air.